Und damit herzlich willkommen hier zu einer weiteren Runde Uncharted 2. Viele werden sich fragen, eine weitere Runde? Geht doch gar nicht, wir haben es so durchgespielt. Ja, so ist es, aber wir haben ganz viel Zeugs noch freigeschaltet. Und wir gehen mal auf die Boni. Ich möchte da mal reingucken. Jetzt gar nicht in die Galerie, ich habe da schon mal so ein bisschen rumgeguckt. Aber es gab noch irgendwas, was ich zeigen wollte. Ich weiß es gar nicht mehr. War es doch? Doch, es war Galerie, seht ihr. Und zwar hier bei den Filmen. Nicht die Story-Filme, die haben wir ja alle gesehen, die Konzeptgrafiken, die sind zwar eigentlich auch ganz geil, aber das ist zu viel. Das ist zu viel des Guten. Es gibt aber so geile Bonusfilme hier. Die musste ich dann für Ingame-Zeug irgendwas kaufen. Ja, das haben wir irgendwie freigeschaltet, ich weiß nicht mehr wie. Und diese Filme haben wir hier freigeschaltet, das sind relativ viele und es geht auch ein Stückchen. Und ich finde das irgendwie geil. Hier, hinter den Kulissen, Technik und Gameplay. Ich würde dann mal gleich die Klappe halten und... ich kenn's nicht und ich dachte mir, wenn ich es mir schon mal angucke, dann nehme ich es mit auf. So ein bisschen Bonusmaterial ist ja nie verkehrt. Von daher viel Spaß mit erstmal hinter den Kulissen Technik und Gameplay. Vielleicht bin ich dann nochmal da, vielleicht klicke ich einfach weiter. Mal sehen. Damit geht es los.
With Uncharted 2, we really wanted to not only tell a really compelling story with interesting characters, but we wanted to just put you in these over-the-top cinematic set-piece moments that feel ripped straight out of a summer blockbuster movie. That lets you have control over Drake as you're having to play through those set pieces. So we wanted to just give all the technology we could to the engine to allow us to create these moments.
What the hell are they doing?
On PlayStation 3, for our first game, we were using probably only 30% of the power of the cell, and this time we're like getting close to 100% of like using all the power of the PS3, and how can we use it just to make the game look just beautiful and have better gameplay and just more everything over the top and all that stuff.
Uncharted 1, when it was a hard project because we had a lot of new IP, new team, new system, new engine, new everything. I would always say Uncharted 1 was like doing brain surgery with a chainsaw. In Uncharted 2 is a totally different beast. We have precision instruments now that freed up a lot of time for the production, and that was huge because that gave us the time to do more creating rather than R&Ding.
In Uncharted 2, we integrated use of the Havoc physics engine, as opposed to a proprietary physics engine we wrote for last game. We're able to do a lot more things we couldn't do last game. We can have light fixtures hanging up the ceiling that are dynamically reacting to events that are going on around you. We have destructible cover all over the place. What we want to do is blur the line between the pre-computed physics stuff that we pre-process in our 3D software and the stuff that's happening live in the game. It's dynamically reacting to explosions and gunfire. And our goal is to have those two things coexisting without ever betraying what's going on behind the scenes.
The biggest thing I think that we want to do from Uncharted 1 to Uncharted 2 was really to just push the characters to just another level of believability. We decided to just add a lot more polygons into the model and really redo the entire face rig to kind of get those secondary motions of the face, like the subtle details of like the muscles moving good. And we use like so much of the power of the PS3. I mean, we're literally creating characters that are just like film. It's pretty amazing.
He can't know about us.
We often talk about moments in the development of Uncharted, but they're these iconic images packed with drama and a spirit of adventure, and so the train was definitely one of these.
We wanted a technology that will let us place Drake on objects, be able to move those objects, break them apart, and still keep the player's gameplay intact the whole time. And we're calling them active cinematic experiences. You're fully in control of Drake while something big is happening.
Like staging a battle on the roof and inside of, and on the sides of a train that's speeding through the Himalayan countryside. That represented really major hills for us to climb in terms of technology, and then how we would develop the gameplay scenarios inside of those spaces and using those technologies. But they're so instrumental, they're so fundamental to the game that Uncharted 2 has become that we're very glad that we chose to do those things.
Oh, crap.
With the Uncharted franchise, we really are bringing a unique set of gameplay mechanics that no other game is providing. We're a third-person cover-based shooter, but we also have a hugely expansive traversal moveset. So we've got characteristics of a platform game, and then we've got great hand-to-hand melee combat, so it's all seamlessly fluid, and Drake just really feels like a fully realized human being, and anything that you think you could do, Drake can do.
So in Uncharted 2, we had 3 pillars of gameplay. We had traversal, we had gunplay, and we had hand-to-hand combat. And we set up scenarios, and we changed the animations. We did all these things that would enable you to kind of seamlessly go to any of those things at any time. And so we really wanted to kind of give that really good cohesive feel to your entire experience. We could not have made Uncharted 2 without having made Uncharted 1. We had such a foundation, such a great base to start from that we built everything on top of. And so our goals for Uncharted 2 were to just really expand even more. We're constantly having to find ways to optimize into it, like how can we squeeze more in during the experience, and we have more than achieved that goal. We've definitely outdone ourselves on this game.
Oh God, be careful.
Holy shit.
We're gonna pack more explosions, more big budget, Hollywood blockbuster explosions, buildings collapsing. You know, we want to maximize people's time. You know, if they're gonna spend 12 to 15 hours in our game running through it, we're gonna make sure that every minute of that, there's something unexpected getting thrown at them, there's something falling down around them, and they're caught up in the middle of it.
The optimizations and enhancements that they've done to this engine from Uncharted 1 to Uncharted 2 are mind-boggling, and we're using the PlayStation 3 hardware in a way that I'm not sure that anybody else really is, to have that visual experience be so right and so seamless that you get the effect of people not wanting to put the controller down.
So Leute, da bin ich doch wieder. Ich habe mich dafür entschieden, dann doch mal kurz noch meinen Senf dazu zu geben. Ja, sehr beeindruckend, dieses kleine Filmchen, dass sie wirklich damals schon aus der PS3 versucht haben, das Maximalste rauszuholen. Ob es wirklich das Maximalste ist, wissen wir ja noch nicht. Es gibt ja noch den dritten Teil auf der PS3 und da wollen wir natürlich noch mehr sehen. Ich weiß zwar nicht, wie man noch mehr zeigen kann, aber ich vermute mal, es geht. Okay, zweiter Film, nein, eins noch. Sie haben zwar immer wieder davon geredet, dass jede Minute sich ins Hirn fräsen wird, aber sie haben dann doch immer die Szenen gezeigt, die doch sehr durchgeskriptet sind, ne? Obwohl ich da eigentlich die gar nicht so gut finde. Ich fand eigentlich das gesamte Gameplay relativ geil. Ja, die Offenheit. Naja, wie dem auch sei. Geiles Spiel. Mehr will ich gar nicht sagen. Okay, nächster kleine Kurzfilm. Story und Design. Behind the Scenes. Okay. Ich sag mal, guck mal rein. Ich bin dabei. Ich habe keine Ahnung, was die PlayStation hier gerade macht. Oh, jetzt geht's los.
We faced a huge number of challenges in making Uncharted 2 among Thieves. One of the things that we did right at the beginning of the project was to write out kind of a list of the rules by which the Uncharted world operates. It's very much a game about exploration and discovery. It's kind of larger than life, and it has these characters in the world who are often eccentric or surprising.
Yeah, well, payback's a bitch.
We have challenges on all fronts. It's how do you create a grounded character in a grounded setting, trying to get the pacing right, not only in the story and the cutscenes, but in games, so they actually start playing the way that we're drawing them in the story. They need to look and react that way in the game as well.
When we set out to do the sequel, we just wanted to even do better at capturing that active cinematic experience, which is really, for us, capturing the charm and action and adventure and spirit of classic, action adventure that we all love, and making it interactive, so that anything we could do to make that experience in the player's hands, we wanted to improve from the first game to the second. And I think that's why we get the effect of people not wanting to put the controller down. They want to see what's going to happen next, and they're emotionally invested in what the characters are doing.
He's got a really unique character in Nathan Drake, so we really wanted to delve deeper into the character, figure out what makes him tick, and expand the cast of characters to allow him to have a lot of different individuals to play off.
Nate, this is Carl Schaefer.
How are you feeling?
I think within the video game landscape, he stands out. I mean, he's got a real relatable character. He's an everyman. He's fallible.
Nate.
No, Elena, I'm done. Now, come on, I'm through playing the hero.
We knew that we wanted to expand on his character, to explore flaws and conflicts without losing what we thought was at the heart of our story, which is humor and charm.
Yeah, good luck, Belle. I mean, that's almost impossible to... Oh, you did it. Nice.
And, there's even elements of romantic comedy, which I think is unusual in games.
If it makes you feel any better, my relationship with Flynn is strictly professional.
Really?
Mostly professional.
Oh.
True character is defined by the choices a human being makes under pressure. So that's what we try to do with Nate, is throw something at him that just pushes him enough, right, up against the wall, that forces him to kind of be cunning and skillful, and then thus become the hero in the story.
And that becomes sort of the core of the story, is seeing, when people are put in a crisis, their real character comes out. And then how the people he surrounds himself with, his friends and his colleagues, react to the same crises, and what that says about his character. We've got Sullivan and Elena, and a new character, Flynn, who's a longtime partner and associate of his, and Chloe Fraser, who's his sort of new romantic interest.
I'm sorry, do you have a plan to go along with that grenade?
Yes, I do.
And all these people sort of are satellites around him that reflect different aspects of his personality and pull him in different directions. And then we want to just see what happens when the shit hits the fan.
We can't just leave him here to die.
He is as good as dead already, and so are we if we don't go now.
Then go.
Yeah, nobody's stopping you.
Uncharted has always been grounded into reality, and we try to thread the fiction and reality. We try to push it as much as possible to the fantasy, but it's still believable. We've always wanted this very lush and colorful world. We want just vibrancy in all of our textures, detail. It's just all about detail, detail, detail. Some of us actually been to the Gompas in Nepal and Tibet, and we look at the location and the culture and how rich the architecture is, and just how they've developed their culture and the colors and the design. And sometimes reality is better than almost anything you can create.
The big picture and the details. You can't have one without the other. So we'll do a variety of different types of concept art. We'll start off with sort of the big production paintings that give you the breadth and scope of what the level's supposed to look like. And they'll do tons and tons and tons of pages of, what do the pipes look like? What does this look like?
When we set out to figure out the stories, we know that we always want to base it on a real-life historical mystery. Our catalyst for this story was a real-life story about Marco Polo. He's one of the first Westerners to travel to China as a trader, as a merchant. And the mystery surrounding his return home was what we used as our launching point.
Marco Polo leaves China with 600 passengers and 14 ships loaded down with treasure from Kublai Khan. Now he lands in Persia a year and a half later with only one ship left and only 18 passengers.
So somewhere out there are 13 ships loaded with the Emperor's treasure waiting to be found.
Yeah, and that is what your client is after.
And because we base a lot of our historical backstory on facts, you feel a lot more grounded. The Chinnamani stone gave us a nice artifact, something meaty with a real historical context for Drake to pursue. So here we have this artifact that somehow ties into Shangri-La, and that was another grounding for us.
A lot of people pay lip service to trying to tell a good story in a video game, but they don't really take the steps necessary to deliver on that promise. And our team really has embraced that challenge, and I think we're providing a level of character-driven plot that most games just aren't capable of doing. And we combine that with a really rich gameplay experience that weaves that narrative into the game as you're playing it, and it's just that whole package that we're bringing is what I'm most proud of.
But what is it they say? Fortune favors the bold. Right. Lucky me.
Okay, das war Story und Design. Dann fehlt noch hinter den Kulissen Entstehung der Filmsequenzen. Da bin ich ja mal gespannt. Sicherlich viel mit Greenscreen und mit Motion Capturing aufgenommen. Bin sehr gespannt. Schauen wir uns an. Ich hoffe, diesmal ist die Ladezeit nicht ganz so lang. Na, sie rattert schon ordentlich. Sie wird wahrscheinlich das ganze Video irgendwie gerade in den Speicher laden. Naja. Aber lohnt sich ja auch, das anzugucken. Von daher ist schon ein ordentlicher Batzen, den sie ja laden muss. Ich hoffe, sie hat's.
Find the remains of my expedition and you will have your proof. Tenzin will guide you.
One of the advantages of having actors who do both the voice and the physical performance on the stage is that you get this unique energy when actors interact with each other that you just don't get when you record everybody separately in a sound booth.
Hello. Oh! Whew! So much for foreplay.
We allow a certain degree of improvisation among the actors. You know, we have the script. They're never necessarily set in stone. If we come up with something better on the day of the shoot, or if one of our actors comes up with a funny ad-lib that works, you know, we use it. And if you record everything beforehand with completely different people, you'll never get that.
That was great. I love that. The actors and the director, the motion capture director, really kind of treat their sequences like miniature plays, and they block them as if, you know, they're performing in front of a live audience, you know, but because there is no real camera there. There's, you know, virtual cameras all over the place.
A girl can hit harder than that.
We work from an outline that we created at the beginning of the project. We flesh out the script and we work on the scenes as we go, and then when we get into the studio, we have a rehearsal day with the actors, we revise the material together, we get it up on its feet, and we block it as if we were shooting film. Then the next day we get together and shoot it for real with the full crew there and the mocap suits and everything. And even then we revise them on its feet. So it's a really different process than most video games use. We split the take.
We split the take 3 ways, then you and I disappear. Together.
There's been a lot of instances where you have studios who record the voices separately from the mocap, and the end result almost always looks, at best, looks like pantomime, and at worst, looks like people running around flailing their arms.
Let's not forget who walked out on who.
The nice thing about motion capture is, unlike a live action shoot, where, you know, if one person is okay in one take but the other person isn't, you're kind of having to choose between one or the other. I can choose anybody's take from any performance at any time so that we can always get the best possible result.
The reason we were actually trying to capture the audio on the stage is because that's basically when the actor's in the moment and they're giving their best performance, and it just feels a lot better than when we ADR it. Often that feels, you know, kind of canned.
You are the reporter who has been biting at my heels. You better pray that he is not bluffing.
When I really get involved is really on the day of mocap shooting. So I'm there on the stage as we're recording the scenes, shooting the scenes with the actors, and I'm listening for continuity between takes. I'm listening for the right emotional tone between the actors. I'm listening for noise. I'm listening for all kinds of pollution in the sound. And we do a bunch of takes.
I'm paying attention to it from the sort of the holistic overview of how the performance fits into the larger story, into the script as a whole. I'm listening for the writing, whether it's working, whether what's on the page is coming out on the stage.
I place the cameras where I think I'm going to get the best, most effective performances out of everybody, best establishing shots, best close-ups. And when the scene calls for it, especially in the more action-oriented scenes, we always try to add a bit of a handheld feel to the whole thing as well.
Once Josh has decided which takes and which masters and all the time codes of the motion capture that he's going to order, I'll stitch it together. He gives me the leeway to make the timing feel good. It feels energetic. Then I go through all of the takes that we've recorded on the stage, not just the ones that we've selected. I'll make my best cut out of all that dialogue.
Now, come on, I'm through playing the hero. Your adversary will not give up so easily. He will not stop until he possesses the thing he desires.
The actors give us such great material on the stage, and when we come in, we have to complete that performance and make these characters really alive and who they are. That usually starts off with looking at what the characters are touching and what prop manipulations and how they interact with each other, and then it goes all the way up to all the fine details of how their fingers and hands are held and what their faces, the expressions and tone and emotion of their face. It's not just the lip sync, it's the whole performance. It's what they're doing when they're not speaking as well. So when we get that performance into our computers and we can look at it from any direction, it's at that point we need to set up our camera rigs. We need to decide where our shots are going to be from, what's going to be a close-up, what's going to be a wide or medium shot, what's going to have a wide angle or a long lens, so we get to start that once the performance is already in.
We like to do a lighting study, what we call a lighting study, and look at the action, look at the location, understand the story point, really look at the subtle motion, the interaction of the characters, try to pick some real hero frames, some key points, some key frames in that story point, in those scenes, and really light those to really bring the action to life. We start to move lights around in real time in the game, so we can grab a hold of the sunlight and move it around and see, oh yeah, that angle of lighting really works nice on the character, and it really brings out the right emotion, so we get the right angle, marry that with the right color. Now we've got a compelling shot developing.
My relationship with Flynn is strictly professional.
Really?
Mostly professional.
Oh. Often for the sounds in Uncharted 2, we will go out and actually do field recording. We've done that with a lot of the environment stuff. We also, record a whole lot of Foley as well. So, because we have all the characters that we have to cover, and their movesets are really, pretty extensive.
Well, since our goal is to make sure that this sort of cinematic experience that we're providing, both interactively and in terms of the pre-rendered cutscenes, is as seamless as possible, we wanted to make sure everything happened within the same rendering engine, which is our game rendering engine.
It's awesome. I mean, it's amazing because you can play the game, segue right into the cinematic, use the game engine to light these cinematics, bring them to life, and just make it really, really immersive. Using the game engine, just one goes into the other and out, and so continuity is just there.
Because we have the same assets that you're looking at in game and in the movie, we get that seamless cinematic experience. It's really, really unique.
I suppose I should have quit while I was ahead.
It's not just about the visceral thrill of what you're doing, it's about the emotional and the visceral thrill, and that's where having it be a character-driven story is so important.
And it's great fun for the player to experience, and I look forward to it. It's a lot of fun.
Bin ich wieder. Ja, wie erwartet, sehr viel Motion Capturing und das zu Recht. Anders kann man das wahrscheinlich gar nicht visuell umsetzen. So, hinter den Kulissen für das Kapitel Online-Technologie. Keine Ahnung, was damit gemeint ist. Ich vermute mal der Online-Multiplayer-Modus, den wir ja gar nicht gespielt haben, der auch gar nicht mehr aktiv gespielt wird. Also da gibt es keine Spieler. Dennoch Genau deswegen, weil wir ihn nicht gesehen haben und nicht kennen, ist es vielleicht umso interessanter, dann doch mal einen Blick hineinzuwerfen. So, es wird wahrscheinlich wieder ein bisschen dauern. Und dann sollte es auch langsam losgehen mit dem nächsten Film. Perfekt.
The biggest challenge we got when we started was like animation. I mean, everybody's been raving about our animations on the first one. We've been pushing the boundaries even further, like on Uncharted 2 Among Thieves. And we're like, okay, that's great, but how are we gonna make that work online? I remember I got really excited when I got on my monitor like 2 drakes running around. I called everyone in the office, say, hey guys, come on over. And like everybody like saw right away the potential. We were like, okay, that's huge. We spent a lot of time working on our technology to just bring animations across the network so that you can see the other players at the same quality you would see just like NPCs or enemies in the game.
Now we have all the fluid animations, all the climbing, all the jumping, you know, all the special moves are all in the game, which is really awesome.
We really pushed the boundaries. We tried new things nobody tried before.
Everything that we do in single player shows up in multiplayer.
You can see player movement as detailed as possible, like you will see them if they were like next to you. So when we try to work online, we also want to make sure the experience for the player would be just as simple as it is when you play single player. So you hit start, you start the game, you play.
I can very quickly jump online, hit our matchmaking system. There's no waiting around, there's no nothing. I'm pushing a button, I'm in the game. I'm finding people of like skill, so it's, you know, bouncing me up and down and putting me into the right level, so I know that every game I play is going to be fun. You know, I'm going to be constantly challenged, but it's not going to be too hard.
Also, something that's very important is be able to play with your friends, and that's why we created our party system.
If I have a bunch of friends online, I can very easily invite them to join my party. I can see them in their party, jump in with them with one button press.
So that if you go and make a custom game, they're going to play that custom game with you. If you go in matchmaking, they're going to come and be in your team and follow you in your matchmaking. So that's key, because a lot of people want to play with their friends too. It's super important, like, to be able just to chat with your friends and make fun of them sometimes if they die and stuff like that. We made it like really extremely easy. So I'm sure people are gonna use that feature a lot.
In the cinema mode, we record the games that you've played, so you can go back and watch games that you've played before and see, you know, what exactly you did. The last game you played.
We save your games when you play them. You can replay them. Just fast forward, pause the game, stop, freeze everything, move the camera around, and just look at what's going on, where everybody is, and you can take screenshots, and so that you can then show off to your friends. And also, you can use it to see how other players are playing. So, like, if a guy was really good in the other team or in your team, you can just replay the file and just follow him and see how he did it. What was his like tactic, like, just to be so good? What is he doing? Because everybody has a unique technique.
Even if you're playing by yourself, you're gonna call your wife over, your kids, your friends in the house and say, look at this awesome thing that happened, and sort of gets more people involved. You know, you can go through and sort of give yourself a best of reel, which is really, really neat.
The great thing about the PlayStation 3 that I love is the fact that there's a hard drive, and that's on every single machine, and that's like priceless for us. So cinema mode was very easy because we can save your cinema files to your hard drive very easily, and also we're having some technology using the cloud where we can like save the files, your cinema files, to the cloud, so that when you want to share it with your friends will be able just to get it from the cloud and download it to their own PS3, to their hard drive.
Ultimately, statistics are sort of the rawest form the game takes. So as a designer and as a player, it's important that we're able to see those things so we know where the game is unbalanced. I would never be able to make the game fair if I couldn't tell what the statistics were for any given map in any given mode.
We had to be creative because PSN is free, and I love that. It's the fact like people can just play online games for free at any time, and that's huge. And it's good because it forced us just to find new ways to store that data, and that's why we started to work on the cloud technology.
Things that I thought were cool maybe didn't work. Maybe there was too many deaths there. Maybe maybe nobody ever went there. Those kind of things were very, very easy for me to see because we did track so many statistics all the way along.
The stats are like the biggest thing for the players. They want like to know how they're doing. We have competitions going on, and they want to be able just to go on the website and just look at the results of the game and check the result of the game and be able just to define who's winning the tournament.
One of the best features of Uncharted 2 is the ability for us to live update the game, which means we don't have to patch. It's completely transparent to the player.
Every time you start the game, you go on multiplayer here at the bottom. You're gonna connect to our servers and you're gonna sync the latest data. And it's completely transparent, it takes no time, so that if we see there's a big advantage point on the map that we need to fix, we can do that. We can do that without people knowing about it. And it's good because it makes the experience better for everyone. The game has to be fair, and that's very important.
If we want to update models in the game, it's very, very easy for us to do that. If we want to update game modes, or even just tweaking numbers having to do with the explosive damage, let's say, or the damage of the guns, if we find that something's overpowered or in the wrong place even, we can update all those things.
We want to be able just to keep pushing new things to the players even after we ship. And that was a big part of our technology too. And we're using the cloud for that too, where we store all our files just that you need to update on the cloud. And again, it's all free and it's all good.
Naja, die Innovation von damals, it's all free und alles ist gut. Wie gut, dass sich das ja alles seit 2013, seit PS4 geändert hat. Alles kostet jetzt und man kann nicht mehr so alles updaten. Ja, also die PS3, ich kann ja auch nur sagen, ist wahrscheinlich so ein extremer Meilenstein geworden. Keine Frage, technisch und grafisch ist es natürlich heutzutage alles nochmal einen Ticken besser, nur einen Ticken. Aber dennoch, so Multiplayer-technisch, es kostet alles, dieses DLC-Geschlunze und Lootboxen gab es damals halt nicht, diese ganze Scheiße. Von daher ist schon geil, was es hier alles gab. Schade, dass es keiner mehr spielt. Ich hätte es gerne mal gespielt und gerade auch mit diesem Feature, dass man eigentlich einen Film draus schneiden kann und das direkt hochladen kann. Alter, das ist perfekt. Das ist perfekt. Das war schon damals einfach YouTube-Niveau. Okay, hinter den Kulissen Naughty Dogs. Ich habe keine Ahnung, was das ist. Das sind ja die Entwickler. Vielleicht wird uns hier nochmal ein bisschen näher gebracht, was die sonst noch so im Petto haben. Ich bin gespannt. Meine Güte, es blendet aber auch von rechts hier. Ja, ja, so.
Welcome to Naughty Dog.
Hey, how are you?
It's a good job. You know, they use the word family a lot here. It's like family, you know, dysfunctional.
Yeah, it's fun. It's like having brothers in a weird way. Like really gross brothers you don't like.
I hate them all.
It's like having a bunch of brothers and sisters around.
Now it's like I've worked here long enough that I've got to know these guys. Like, you know, like my brothers, like that dude over there. Yeah, so, yeah.
It's a nice little kind of marriage, so to speak.
And the people are really great to work with. It's a nice atmosphere.
We hate each other sometimes, we love each other sometimes.
But I've found a happy place here.
I've never had this intimate of a relationship with my coworkers in the sense that if you have a problem with someone, it's almost like you're dating them. You go outside and you'd be like, you know, I don't really appreciate the way you were talking to me that one day.
We have a lover's quarrels often.
We hold hands a lot.
Yeah.
We come into the office, he'll bring me breakfast.
Camera is like, yeah, kind of does censor us a little bit. It's unfortunate.
I can throw things at Marianne, so we're good. We're a good team.
It's good being a game designer at Naughty Dog. We have a lot of fun.
Know thy player, know thyself.
Oh, get out of here.
Yeah.
It's just like home. Just like home. Oh.
One of the things that appeals to me about working here is the collaborative environment. I mean, the way it affects the work is that pretty much anybody can say anything at any time.
We are a special kind of company, and as much as pretty much everyone here is a game designer. Everyone here is a game designer, but everyone at the company is encouraged to have input into the process of creating this game.
It's really collaborative. I mean, everyone just kind of works together and bounces ideas off of each other and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's from the president on down. You can go to anybody and say, hey, how are we going to do this? How's this going to work?
I can't tell you how many times I'll be sitting here and then hear somebody have a conversation over there and go, oh, wait, I know how to solve that problem. Or I'll be talking to somebody and somebody else will say, hey, wait, you're doing this wrong. I know exactly what you should be doing.
I just go to talk to anybody, like, hey, man, I need some help with this. You know, you're this guy, you're the lighting guy. You know, can you help with this?
It's cool because you can just pop your head up over a pod and say, hey, Tate, come here, and he'll come help you.
Everyone's so proactive. Everyone's constantly coming over to you and asking questions and suggesting things, and you're going over to them.
Because of the communication, not only does it make us all like work together better, but it solves so many issues that if we were in separate offices or separate pods, we'd never know what the other person was working on or what they're doing.
If something sucks about your level, guarantee you will have a dozen people in your face that day saying, so do you have a plan to make this awesome?
You're gonna have like 6 people on you in an hour telling you why this sucks and why you have to change it. And it won't be just programmers or designers, it'll be artists, it'll be testers, it'll be like everybody. So that's one of the reasons we end up with better games.
There's no such thing as you know, straight, just really dark criticism. It's just people trying to help you build upon what your initial idea is.
We'll just iterate on it, change it around, and make it fun to play. You know, I mean, that's what we're doing here, trying to make games that are fun to play.
You're constantly running around talking to some awesome animator, some amazing visual effects artist, you know, and then coming back to your desk and working in the tools and like putting it together yourself with your own hands, you know, and that's just amazingly satisfying.
It's a privilege and a pleasure to work with everybody here because they're, you know, respected in their fields. They're very good at what they do. Everybody here has 3 things in common: talent, determination, and passion.
Naughty Dog is just made up of many, many extremely creative people who are, I think most importantly, really concerned about getting their own work looking as best as it can.
We recognize everybody's strengths and we leverage everybody's strengths.
They've collected a bunch of people that are, you know, really competent and really good at what they do, and they, as much as possible, try and stay out of their way and let them do what they do.
I haven't met a single person at this company who doesn't know what they're doing.
When I found out that I got my job at Naughty Dog, I freaked out. I called everybody, I screamed, I jumped around, I danced.
It's really hard to get a job here. So once I was able to get a job here, I was like, yes, finally.
There's a lot of egos too, just like any place, and there's a lot of talented people, and so that's going to mean a lot of egos. And I think everyone has a mutual respect.
Last game, our level of cinematics were here, pretty high, I think. And then I think this game, our cinematic level is going to be up here. Camera can't get that high.
We have an awesome programming team who gives us the tools that allows us as artists to take our creativity as far as it can go.
They're not completely focused exclusively on the technical implementation. They want to know why they're doing it. They want to know how it's going to make the game better and how it's going to be awesome.
To be able to do multiplayer came about from people experimenting with technologies themselves in their own time, and then it was like, oh, we can use this.
Programmers know it. They're designers. They don't need that from us, which is amazing. It's incredible. And it also makes us feel like frauds.
Well, it's different from a lot of places. There's not a whole lot of structure here. There's not a whole lot of hierarchy.
We really try to break down the hierarchy so there's not all these kind of levels of like, oh, well, he's somebody, so he can't say this and da-da-da-da.
You want to just go directly to the person who knows what they're doing, so you don't have to go up the hierarchy and down again. You just go straight there and get it done and get it fixed much faster because of that.
All of them do work. No one's a suit here. So you respect them because they know what they're talking about.
People who tell us what to do are the people who are actually creating the game themselves. So it's good because they know what they need.
It's run by artists and programmers and people that care about what they're doing. And there's not a lot of bureaucracy.
There's no meetings. It's just, if you need something, you go get the designer and say, hey, here's what I'm working on. Does this work for you? And they say yes or no, and they give you feedback and you change it, and that's it.
We have no producers. That really gives me a lot of freedom. Also, a lot of responsibility. I'm really in charge of my own stuff, and When when shit doesn't go right, you know, they're on my tail about it.
It's like this organic thing that sort of grows in every direction by itself, and every once in a while the hand of God comes down, slaps it back, and that's kind of how we do it here, which is cool.
My favorite days are like Mondays and Tuesdays, because Mondays I've got yoga at lunch, and then Tuesdays and Thursdays we play basketball.
A lot of us go to the gym, basketball. We're going to be playing basketball in 20 minutes.
We get free lunch on Wednesdays, breakfast and cereal and coffee, and we're in the heart of Santa Monica.
This is my naughty dog. His name is Jack, and we'll bring him in every once in a while, and then suddenly your toe is being licked, and it was a little bit, you know, a little bit scary sometimes, because I thought Ryan was under the desk.
Nice. Makes it feel like home. I mean, we have a little trumpet running around. It's like, hi, trumpet. Just can't feed her too much, and she'll get fat.
Dude, how's that? I'm like, it's awesome.
I'm sure it'll be awesome.
It's an awesome thing.
It's been awesome. It was awesome.
It's awesome.
Awesome.
Working here is just awesome.
It's pretty awesome. Make it even more awesome. And you're like, okay, we're on the same wavelength. Make it awesome. Make it awesome. Good. And then you come back like a day later, and it's there, and it's awesome.
Awesome, really? That's the word they used?
Man, we thought the designers had a better like vocabulary than we did, but apparently not.
Yeah, but I've been saying the same thing over and over again. It's like we're here to do one thing, and that's make a great game.
It's really about having passion for what you're doing and want to see it through. And that's, I mean, really the through line for the last 10 years that I've been here, and I think we'll continue to be. That's the only way we can get the perfection and the quality that we get.
Of the 13 years I've been here, it's probably the strongest Naughty Dog it's ever been. You know, definitely.
Put it against your head like Michael Jordan.
Let me start that again.
Out of my craziest imagination, I can't imagine using yak crap in poo patties on your wall.
The reality is I just hit the table with my head. And
Every pixel's a photon, and you start to feel the game and live the game. Next thing you know, you're inside the game.
But, you know, Hong's not telling you that he takes amazing pictures of beautiful women in his spare time.
Yeah, well, payback's a bitch.
Oh, crap.
I'm last year's model.
Where there's golds, there's guns.
What was the question?
And working with him. Let me try again.
Cut.
Late at night, we, you know, we use it.
Oh, it's good. You just called yourself a designer.
Yeah. Can cut that, right?
You should really do real-world style. Like,
Do you guys
want it
bleep?
to
Like, would you guys
capture-
just bleep stuff out? Would you still use the footage? But you just bleep that shit out right there.
Da ging es dann doch schon so lange, dass mein Controller ausgegangen ist. Okay, ja, okay, also was konnten wir aus diesem Video entnehmen? Es geht den Leuten von Naughty Dog wirklich sehr gut. Die Mitarbeiter sind wirklich schwer begeistert. Ja, und das mehr habe ich eigentlich nicht entnehmen können. Ich hätte gedacht, dass sie nochmal irgendwas sagen über andere Spiele oder so, aber haben sie nicht. Na gut, ab zum nächsten. Hinter den Kulissen, die Zelle meistern. Ich habe keine Ahnung, was das ist. Dann kommt noch schlau wie ein Doc. Und Test-Trailer, Animation, okay. Also, die Zelle meistern. Lass dich überraschen. Ich habe keinen Dunst, was das sein konnte.
For Uncharted 2, we had a little bit more time, and so we could really attack the hardware this time around. We saw a huge target in helping out the graphics chip by offloading some of the work to the SPUs. And when we started doing that, we realized that the SPUs are really good at doing this kind of work. We added more functionality to it so that it all could be done on the SPUs and really efficiently and with much higher quality than before. Our characters, they typically have 80,000 polygons in one character, like the main character. In total, what we try to push through to the graphics chip is about 1.2 million triangles that we try to draw every frame. We do a lot using the cell processor. We make heavy use of assembly programming, which is really nitty-gritty programming.
Uncharted has animation blending as a core feature of our technology, a core feature of how our characters move, and it's incredibly unique to the way we're approaching the problem of producing a really high-quality animation.
We can have animations that range anywhere from just a couple of animations to up to 20, 30 animations at one time affecting a character, affecting them in various parts like hands, face, shoulders, back, and legs.
You don't have to have an animator animate every single possible combination of the player putting away his weapon while jumping or running and shooting or all these different things. Really, no animator can animate enough animations to produce the same look that we've been able to do by mixing and matching, by layering animations on top of each other, by blending between animations even on different layers. And that really gives the player a lot more control over what he wants to do that's not limited by our animators.
We added more functionality to it so that, for instance, the camera motion blur, it all could be done on the SPUs and really, really efficiently and with much higher quality than before. So we added lots of things on top of it, including bloom and downsampling, the focal blur. And the interesting thing about the focal blur is that we're actually being very accurate, so that when you fight with a character, we can focus on what's happening in close combat. Whereas when you aim at someone far away, we can focus on what's happening far away, and things that are near blur out. So it really guides your eye, maybe in the same way that your eyes focus on something in the distance or close. You know, now that we don't have to do the post effects using the graphics chip, that means that the graphics chip can do more, which means that we can render more polygons and have more interesting background. So all in all, it's a huge benefit for the graphics.
Oh, crap.
We really wanted to push the PS3, which we knew we could push even further from what we had done with the first game. And we went from 150 objects for the first game. This game, we're capable of over 500 objects in like just a couple of milliseconds.
And that has allowed us to make the world come to life, to really feel real, feel like you're not in this like frozen wasteland, but really that you're in a building that's being destroyed, that you're in a war zone with everything going on around you, that things are more real than they ever have been before.
And it shows, given the SPUs and just the harnessing the power of the PS3, we can now take it so much further. And Uncharted 2, we've really taken it the next step.
Because our game is very much an action movie, right? So you would expect to have it look sort of like a movie. It's still stylized, but movie-like. And so we made a filmic filter for the high dynamic range, so we could play much more with the light values. It looks much more believable, and also it sort of solves a lot of the shadowing problems that you sort of expect to see. So it really puts everything together in a sort of a cohesive way. Hard to do, but the benefits are huge because you can make real magic happen.
Aha, der Prozessor ist gemeint, der PS3-Prozessor. Oh Leute, jetzt wird es hier langsam ein bisschen dunkel, der Hintergrund flimmert. Ich hätte auch nicht erwartet, dass es so lange geht. Ich habe es mir eben noch nicht angeguckt. Also hier steht zwar immer drunter, wie lang ein Video geht, aber ich habe es halt nicht gemacht. So, hinter den Kulissen, schlau wie ein Doc, haut rein. Nächstes Video. Also es ist schon echt interessant. Aber ich dachte, es ist noch ein bisschen mehr Hintergrundwissen.
There's chocolate? Like you get the new look for it.
We hate management, we hate meetings, we don't like long emails. If you see something in the game that you want to fix, don't ask permission, just go in there and make it awesome.
Yeah, people are asking us, like, what's your secret? Yeah, what are we all about?
It's always sort of a corny answer, but it's really the people. And, you know, we have really strict hiring practices. Every single discipline has a test that we give people, and we have a very thorough interview process as well. We really want to make sure that the people we're bringing in are going to work with the way we like to work, which is everybody's got to be very self-motivated, self-starters. We don't have very much management.
We say, like, we don't hire people so they can work for us, but we hire people so we can work with them.
We hired people because of their talent and their creativity, and we want people just to get in there and collaborate, because that's where the magic happens, really. I mean, when you've got a programmer working with an animator or a modeler working with a text artist, and they're sitting right next to each other and they're communicating on a daily basis.
Like
bureaucracy or hierarchy,
all that stuff. That's just like, this is not us. And we are like just trying to be as plain as we can in terms of our organization, try to be efficient, go to the point, and get it done. Just like we trust everyone just to be on top of what they have to do.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, I think we're somewhat spoiled because, as we're saying, we have this amazing team, and we've got these people that we can trust, and they're going to do great work, even if they have very minimal direction.
No.
And that's the kind of people that we want to bring into Naughty Dog. I mean, in the end, that environment can kind of be chaotic, but that's sort of what we all thrive in, and it's organized chaos, and sometimes not so organized chaos.
Yeah,
but in the end, I know we've got the team that can pull off those ideas and just make the game even better. So yeah, our team size is you know, more than doubled in just the last probably 3 years, and you know, we're still trying to maintain that small game company feel. We're trying to make sure that everybody feels like they've got a say in the production, and everybody's got a voice to be heard. I feel like every single day I come to work, I learn something. You know, and I'm being pushed by my peers around me to, you know, keep up with the state of the art.
After shipping a game, we like tell people, you know what, just go ahead. I mean, just try things out. You have no direction whatsoever. You have 3 months. Do whatever you want to do.
Actually, a lot of the greatest ideas that ended up in the game of Uncharted 2 came out of that period of time, that first 3 months between Uncharted 1 and when we fully hit production of Uncharted 2. So yeah, that period of time of just being able to be creative without restriction, I think really helps the entire production process. We are very communicative with the game development community at large. We talk to other developers within Sony and even other friends in the industry, and just try to bounce ideas off them, see how they've got their studio set up.
If we know great guys who are making great games, and we're gonna ask them if they want to come by at our studio, and so they can check it out. We're like really open about what we do. We're trying to share it with other developers within Sony, outside Sony.
Now the teams are so big, the development process is so complicated.
The challenges are so different.
That just having the idea is only the first step, and you've still got, you know, 99 more steps before you're actually going to be able to implement that idea.
Evan comes from design, and he's still doing design work. I come from programming. I'm still doing programming work. And
so everybody from top to bottom works on the game, actually has a task that they're producing work that's making the game better. Nobody's just managing a schedule or pushing papers. We want the decision to be in the hands of the people that are doing the work.
This is our first passion, and we don't want to lose that. I think we will probably lose some of the energy that we have if we can spend some time doing what's our first passion. Somehow it works, and cross our fingers. But yeah, it works.
So, das vorletzte Video haben wir gemacht. Ihr seht schon, ich habe das Licht angemacht, rechts und links. Und jetzt gehen wir direkt erstmal in den Test-Trailer. Animation. Haut rein.
Sorry, fellas. This belongs to me.
You know, I know a girl that hits harder than that. Real smooth, Nate. Real smooth.
Okay, das war schon richtig geil. Das war, so hätte ich es nicht erwartet. Aber ich muss sagen, die Anfangsszene war ja der Anfang vom Spiel, wenn er da wieder in sein Koma fällt und hat diesen Rückblick. Aber dann die Szene auf dem Zug, die war ja ein bisschen zusammengeschnippelt, wenn man sich dran erinnert. Naja, egal. Also es ist nicht, denke ich, nicht so im Spiel drin gewesen, oder? Da haben sie sich wahrscheinlich das irgendwie noch anders gedacht und dann auch wieder umüberlegt und dann doch anders zusammengeschnippelt und irgendwie kam das dann doch nicht bei raus, wie es jetzt hier gezeigt wurde. So Leute, jetzt haben wir wirklich Uncharted 2 komplett durchgespielt, uns dieses Bonusmaterial angeguckt. Ich fand es richtig schön, dass ihr es noch mit mir genossen habt und ja, jetzt wird es Zeit für ein neues Spiel. Ich bin raus, sage Tschüss, bis zum nächsten Mal. Euer Van Firde Franz. Tschüss!